Chapter 7. Efficiency Through Inflection. How soft the music of those village bells, falling at intervals upon the ear. In cadence sweet, now dying all away, now pealing loud again, and louder still. Clear and sonorous, as the gale comes on. With easy force it opens all the cells where memory slept. William Cowper, The Task. Herbert Spencer remarked that a cadence, by which he meant the modulation of the tones of the voice in speaking, is the running commentary of the emotions upon the propositions of the intellect. How true this is will appear when we reflect that the little upward and downward shadings of the voice tell more truly what we mean than our words. The expressiveness of language is literally multiplied by this subtle power to shade the vocal tones, and this voice shading we call inflection. The change of pitch within a word is even more important, because more delicate than the change of pitch from phrase to phrase. Indeed, one cannot be practiced without the other. The bare words are only so many bricks. Inflection will make of them a pavement, a garage, or a cathedral. It is the power of inflection to change the meaning of words that gave birth to the old saying, "It is not so much what you say, as how you say it." Mrs. Jameson, the Shakespearean commentator, has given us a penetrating example of the effect of inflection, in her impersonation of the part of Lady Macbeth. Mrs. Siddons adopted successively 3 different intonations in giving the words "we fail." At first a quick contemptuous interrogation, "We fail?" Afterwards, with the note of admiration, "We fail." An accent of indignant astonishment laying the principal emphasis on the word we fail. Lastly, she fixed on what I am convinced is the true reading, "we fail," with the simple period, modulating the voice to a deep, low, resolute tone which settles the issue at once, as though she had said, "If we fail, why then we fail, and all is over." This most expressive element of our speech is the last to be mastered in attaining to naturalness in speaking a foreign language, and its correct use is the main element in a natural, flexible utterance of our native tongue. Without varied inflection, speech becomes wooden and monotonous. There are but 2 kinds of inflection, the rising and the falling, yet these 2 may be so shaded or so combined that they are capable of producing as many varieties of modulation as may be illustrated by either 1 or 2 lines, straight or curved, thus: sharp rising, long rising, level, long falling, sharp falling, sharp rising and falling, sharp falling and rising, hesitating. These may be varied indefinitely, and serve merely to illustrate what wide varieties of combination may be affected by these 2 simple inflections of the voice. It is impossible to tabulate the various inflections which serve to express various shades of thought and feeling. A few suggestions are offered here, together with abundant exercises for practice, but the only real way to master inflection is to observe, experiment, and practice. For example, take the common sentence, "Oh, he's all right." Note how a rising inflection may be made to express faint praise, or polite doubt, or uncertainty of opinion. Then note how the same words, spoken with a generally falling inflection, may denote certainty, or good-natured approval, or enthusiastic praise, and so on. In general, then, we find that a bending upward of the voice will suggest doubt and uncertainty, while a decided falling inflection will suggest that you are certain of your ground. Students dislike to be told that their speeches are not so bad, spoken with a rising inflection. To enunciate these words with a long falling inflection would endorse the speech rather heartily. Say good
bye
to an imaginary person whom you expect to see again. Tomorrow, then to a dear friend you never expect to meet again. Note the difference in inflection. I have had a delightful time when spoken at the termination of a formal tea by a frivolous woman takes altogether different inflection than the same words spoken between lovers who have enjoyed themselves. Mimic the two characters in repeating this and observe the difference. Note how light and short the inflections are in the following brief quotation from Anthony the Absolute by Samuel Mervyn. At sea, March 28. This evening I told Sir Robert what's his name he was a fool. I was quite right in this. He is. Every evening since the ship left Vancouver he has presided over the round table in the middle of the smoking room. There he sips his coffee and liqueur, and holds forth on every subject known to the mind of man. Each subject is his subject. He is an elderly person, with a bad face and a drooping left eyelid. They tell me that he is in the British service, a judge somewhere down in Malaysia, where they drink more than is good for them. Deliver the two following selections with great earnestness, and note how the inflections differ from the foregoing. Then reread these selections in a light, superficial manner, noting that the change of attitude is expressed through a change of inflection. When I read a sublime fact in Plutarch, or an unselfish deed in a line of poetry, or thrill beneath some heroic legend, it is no longer fairyland. I have seen it matched. Wendell Phillips. Thought is deeper than all speech. Feeling deeper than all thought. Souls to souls can never teach what unto themselves was taught. Address in the Dartmouth College case. This, sir, is my case. It is the case not merely of that humble institution, it is the case of every college in our land. It is more, it is the case of every eleemosynary institution throughout our country. Of all those great charities founded by the piety of our ancestors to alleviate human misery and scatter blessings along the pathway of life. Sir, you may destroy this little institution, it is weak, it is in your hands. I know it is one of the lesser lights in the literary horizon of our country. You may put it out. But if you do, you must carry through your work, you must extinguish, one after another, all those great lights of science which, for more than a century, have thrown their radiance over our land. It is, sir, as I have said, a small college, and yet there are those who love it. Sir, I know not how others may feel, but as for myself, when I see my alma mater surrounded, like Caesar in the Senate House, by those who are reiterating stab after stab, I would not for this right hand have her turn to me and say, and thou, too, my son. Daniel Webster. Be careful not to overinflect. Too much modulation produces an unpleasant effect of artificiality, like a mature matron trying to be kittenish. It is a short step between true expression and unintentional burlesque. Scrutinize your own tones. Take a single expression like "oh, no," or "oh, I see," or "indeed," and by patient self-examination see how many shades of meaning may be expressed by inflection. This sort of common sense practice will do you more good than a book of rules. But don't forget to listen to your own voice.